What's up, guys? You're watching Shawn with the Wild. It's another rainy day here, so I thought I'd take a little time and answer some of your guys' questions. And this is the other side of the property, and it's a good place to start as any. The first time-lapse kind of video that I did, or the first decent time-lapse video that I did, it gets a lot of comments like, looks awesome, but why are you killing so many trees? 95% of the trees that I used to build that shelter come from this clearing right here, and we had to kind of clear it out because we make room for a cabin. This is kind of going to be that yard. Okay, another thing that gets said a lot is it doesn't seem really realistic. Where are you going to find that many straight trees? Best answer that I can have for that is 4 or 5 years ago, this whole area, it got logged, and this is the regrowth after that. So there's literally thousands of 2, 3, 4 inch trees in here. I probably could build probably even 2, 3 more shelters just like that. And maybe when we get up to the top of this hill, there's a little spot where you can kind of look back down over the top of these trees and you can see just how many of these trees that there are out here. All right, here's a good look at more of those straight trees just laid down and cut out of that clearing. There's a pile there. I think there's a pile on over that way. There's another pile here behind me. There's another pile over in there, and there's 2 or 3 more piles in different places. This property does have some interesting land features and quite a lot of different kinds of clay deposits. I'm not really sure what that is. I guess it's a different type of clay that may lend itself to making some pottery or something like that. I'm not really sure. I just haven't tried it yet, but there's plenty of it. We're going to continue to make our way up this hill into another little domesticated spot that we actually kind of designated it as like a pet cemetery just because it's the way it's unique shaped. Hung a tire swing up here, but it's quite round and flat, just really high up little knoll. It in itself would be a good place for build some kind of little shelter. Kind of weird because it almost seems like a old house place where it is, and as high up as it is, I really doubt it. Right along the edge of this bush here up on this hill, there's wild grapes up here, which kind of almost feels like it was some type of settlement back in the day, but it's just really in an odd spot, but I guess it's possible. That's the bottom that we just came through, and there's literally thousands of 2, 3 inch trees down there. So in reality, I could cut down a few hundred more and it wouldn't hurt anything, because if you ever plan on getting through there or doing anything with it in the future, you know, you're gonna have to make some room, and it's pretty tight in there. Okay, this little spot right here is just a bushcraft fence I kind of put up as in a way of telling my daughter, you know, when she come up here to hang out in her little swing with her dead pets or whatever. It seems kind of weird, but you know, that's what it is. Just, you know, really not to go any further than that, because it kind of opens up back in there and there's some potentials you can get lost or stuck or whatever. Right here we're coming up on another spot. You can kind of climb up and get a good look around. Not really a whole lot you can see because it's so thick and growed up. Which that's something that's indicative of, you know, of being cut just several years ago. It's growing back pretty thick. A lot of pines in this area. I actually thought about at one time putting some kind of shelter in that area. I think it would just be neat to try to use the resources that are up here to build something, because you really don't have much. I mean, obviously you got dirt, but again, no stones. But right around the corner you have like a ton of sand, and I don't know, maybe you can make some adobe bricks or something. Okay, and right about here is where everything begins to change a little bit more into my comfortable setting that I'm in down there. There's a nice barbed wire fence, so that tells you we're kind of right on the property. And over further out that way, there's more wooded properties, but there's not any houses on them. Just other people own them, which I'm seriously thinking about buying up a couple of those when I get the chance. Some of the terrain is pretty rugged as far as up and down, but I've got it worn out pretty good, pretty easy to navigate. See, the woods are starting to get a lot taller back here. We're getting closer down to where I like to hang out. And we're coming up on the creek right here. So I go just a little on the other side of the ditch, but what's on the other side, there's 100 more acres of just wooded land, you know, that nobody lives on, but it belongs to a hog farming company, and they've got a shop set up back there where they wash their trucks out. They never come down here. You kind of feel like you're way out, even though you're really not that far out. And occasionally they do a little clanging and banging and stuff like that. It's actually kind of hard to shoot a video right during the middle of the work day, because they're making so much racket up there. And occasionally when the wind's blowing just right in the summertime, you get that beautiful hog smell that we all know, you know. It doesn't bother me. It smells like home. Anyway, another look at the creek, and you can see the big clay deposit over there. There's more right along through there. So right through here is just completely full of clay. Okay, there's the stand that I hunt out of. And a lot of you guys know it's just like 60 yards. I can see the shelter from here. But yeah, I hunt right here through. I walk pretty much because I don't ever mess with these deer out here unless I absolutely have to. So I've seen them out here when I'd be out here working on the shelter, you know. There's oftentimes I've seen them, so they pretty much know I'm not going to bother them, you know, until I am, and then it's too late at that point. It's either a good hunting strategy or the ultimate betrayal. I don't know. All right, here we are coming up on the shelter area, and we're actually going to take a stop for a second and look at that clay real quick. Or somebody requested me, you know, what does the clay look like 8 months later? Well, this is about 10 months later, and it's starting to crack up and stuff. There's a pretty big crack right there, but considering how thin that I put it on there, it's actually quite impressive. The time you can get out of this, because this is 10 months now. If my life actually depended on it, which it doesn't, but if it actually did, I would think I would put it on there a whole lot thicker and really do the inside. But I wanted to see how tough and durable this stuff was, so I just put it on there quick, something fast in a hurry, and let's see what it looks like after a year. But I suppose as long as it's got a good roof on it and the bottom's just not getting completely soaking wet, it looks like it's going to be here for a long time, you know, unless a tree falls on it or something like that. All right, let's get right to answering some of these questions. I didn't put any names on these, and they're in random order. First question is, when will the Settlers wrenches be available for purchase? We were projecting sometime in the spring, but that was just giving ourselves a little extra room in case something unexpected happened. It's really looking a lot closer to maybe like early March. You know, don't hold me to that, but everything's kind of ahead of schedule right now, so it looks pretty good. Okay, next question. When dark horse spearing, what type of spears do you use? Also, how do you cut the hole? There's only so much I can draw from this question because we don't have any dark horse around here. I'm pretty sure that's a fish. Actually, I know it's a fish. And spearing, I'm gonna say, you know, spear fishing is spear fishing. You want something long with as wide a spearhead as you can get, I guess, to make sure you hit them. As far as what type of, or how do you go about drilling the hole, I'm gonna assume that's an ice fishing thing. And we don't really have any ice fishing around here either. But if I ever find myself in that situation, I'll holler back at you and let you know. Okay, so this is a good one. Somebody says, explain women. I feel you, dog. You know, I've always kind of said that I don't know all there is to know, but I can give you a good survival tip. build you a little shack in the woods and just go hang out there a lot. Okay, next question. Will the Settler's axe have other functions, or will it just be your brand's normal axe? I did have to do a little designing on it because the type of axe that I was looking for I really couldn't find. I looked all over and there was things similar, but they weren't quite exactly what I was wanting, so I am having a custom axe made. Will I actually put it up for sale or not? I mean, I don't know until I get it, use it for a while, and if it does what I want it to do, if I think it's the go-to axe to have, you know, I'll do it. But I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. I like this hatchet for carving, you know, because it's got this kind of notched up head here, and I could really get up in there and do some good carving with it. Of course, it's pretty lightweight. This is just your basic boy's axe. It's not a full-size axe, but it'll still take down a tree. It doesn't have the notch in it where I can get up there and carve, so it makes it a little bit awkward. But maybe it's not too heavy to use, though. I think it would work out pretty good if it did have. Maybe let me get a little water up here, see if I can show you. But maybe if it kind of had a curved out handle like that, almost like the Gansfer, then you could really get up on there and choke up. And the reason not a Gansfer, well, the perfect axe for you already does exist, but it really doesn't, because I want something with a bit of the adds on it, that you can do some chipping away at like a log, or even pound some ground with, or maybe even use it like a hoe or bust up some roots, in which the Pulaski, and there are smaller versions, but then they're not big enough to cut down a tree, and nobody wants to carry like 15 axes. That's the traditional Pulaski, and this adds off the back of here is what I want on my axe. So I want something that's notched up, got adds on the back, that is not near that heavy. That thing is huge, you know. That's not going to be any fun carrying that around. But I kind of wanted this adds on the back, so kind of a cross between a Pulaski and, you know, the Gansfer Burks or whatever it's called. And as far as putting it up for sale, I don't know yet till I get it and use it for a little bit, if it's a good axe, you know, and then I'll have to find a way to make them where they're not like super expensive, because having this one custom made is costing me quite a bit, and I can't really pass that on to you guys. You know, that's not fair just because you hear me say, oh, this is a great axe. Well, you know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm going to test it out first and see, and then I'll have to find some kind of economical way to produce those. Okay, next question. Have you ever been ill while in the wild? If so, do you carry meds? And it's got questions about poison ivy. I think Mr. Felker answered that question about as good as you can answer it around here. You know, you can't really get more than a few miles from the road in the right direction, so help is not too far away. I have been sick like out on a longer outing, like a hike in the mountains or something like that. But in reality, most of the medicine that you're going to need is things that you're actually going to run into. You know, you're dealing with blades and knives and stuff like that, so cutting yourself, that's pretty realistic, so you want something in there for that. Getting some diarrhea or vomiting, you know, is a real good possibility. Anytime you're trying to drink water, or raw water, or boiled water, or whatever, and even some of the edibles out there, you know, could cause you some issues. And even some game meat could cause you some issues, that you'll want something in there for that. If you're messing with a fire a lot, you'll probably want something, you know, to treat burn wounds or anything like that. I carry a suture kit in my bag. I used to be a veterinary surgery technician for a long time, so I'm pretty comfortable throwing some stitches in myself. I've even sewed up my kids, so that kind of stuff doesn't bother me too much. But as long as you got the basics in there, after that it's going to be kind of your individual needs. You know, a sprain or something like that's realistic since you're constantly on uneven ground. Just kind of think about what you're apt to encounter, and then dress up your med kit kind of towards that. also see that they ask about poison ivy under there. You know, it's something that I've been researching and studying since I was a kid when I first come in contact with it. It really bothered me and it really messed me up pretty good. So I've been trying to pay attention to it ever since. It's way of a preventative. There's not any good way to prevent it other than to learn to identify it from a distance and keep your distance. You know, don't get close to it if you can help it. As far as treatment, there are things on the market that will treat it, supposedly, but I've really never found them to be that effective. I've pretty much trained myself. I can get a mosquito bite, a gnat bite, a fly bite, and then have like a poison ivy bump on myself, and I can really distinguish that itch. To me, it's a real distinguishable itch, so I know when I got it and I try to get on it and attack it pretty fast. I'm not recommending a solution or anything, but I can tell you what I do. If the first sign of it that pops up, I'll get in a shower or under some running water like that, and I actually take a bottle cap and I'll scratch it. I'll pretty much annihilate it under running water. That way any of the oils that's coming out while I'm scratching is not going to run down and cause it to go somewhere else. Of course, I don't use my fingers because I'm not trying to spread it anywhere, but I found keeping it under that running water seems to help keep from spreading it. Of course, after you do that and you start to dry off, that oil is going to start to seep up to the top. And then just regular Dawn, you know, it cuts grease, it cuts oil. Get it and scrub it really, really good. If you've ever been working on cars or something, use that as an example. And I was going to do a video on that. So you get a little grease on you, and then the next thing you know, you're moving around, going in the house. Well, you've transferred it to your side, and then, you know, you maybe scratch down there, it's on your fingers, then you transfer it to your face. And sometimes if you've ever went in and got in the shower and washed that grease off, and you think, I'm gonna get it all, I'm gonna make sure I get it all, and you get out of the shower and you turn your elbow over and you see that black car grease is still on your arm. You're like, how in the world did I miss that? I think the oils in poison oak kind of work that same way, so you got to really be on top of it. Okay, the next question. What is your preferred firearm for situations you find yourself in, pistol or rifle? That's going to kind of be a preference, and it's all really going to depend on where in the world that you are. So I really don't know how to answer that, but I'll answer it in its literal sense, is like, what is your preferred, meaning my preferred weapon of choice. Situations I find myself in are going to be, of course, ones that I put myself in on purpose, but they're going to be like some kind of hike in a national park type of thing, or, you know, just out exploring some backcountry, which is also going to be connected to some kind of national park that'll let you do that, or out here and stuff like that. Most of the time, if I'm coming out here just for a day to do some work, I don't bring any type of firearm. I don't think it's necessary. There's not really any predators around here that I'm worried about. We don't have bears in this part of the state. Some people might say we do, but I've personally never seen one, and I've been in the woods a lot. We don't have wolves, and the TWRA, which is the Tennessee Wildlife Association, they're just now publicly saying that there been spotted a rare few mountain lions in that area, and maybe soon it'll be an issue that you'll have to take something out in the woods to, you know, with you like that all the time. But as of right now, I'm not really that worried about it. Now, when I go on like an extended hike or extended camp or something in some backcountry or in a national park, you know, that's all government-owned land, and they're really gonna frown on you if you carrying a long rifle onto their property like that, given that there are bears there potentially, and there are mountain lions there. I mean, you go into that knowing, which they're really not going to like you carrying a long gun, which that would be my choice, would be some kind of rifle. So I don't carry one, even though I know their potential risk in that situation. But I do always, in a long-term situation, most often have a pistol in my bag, just because it's not as noticeable. And if you had to have something, you know, a pistol's not going to be your best choice, but it's better than, you know, trying out your Brazilian jiu-jitsu on a bear. You know, it's just not happening. The particular one that I carry, if I can dig it out, is this 9mm Desert Eagle. Now it's not big on caliber, but the 9mm rounds are easier to come by, and what it lacks in caliber, it's like ridiculously accurate. But so a lot of times if I'm going on a hike or an extended stay outing in the backcountry or something, that'll be in my bag. Anything other than that, you know, it's going to be kind of personal preference. If I'm coming out here to hunt, even here, you know, I'll bring whatever it is, you know, that I need, just because I'm not too far from the house and it's easy just to bring something out. 22 shotgun, 30-06, you know, if I'm deer hunting or something like that. Some of you guys have a lot more serious threats than I do, so you want to pack for that. That's the best I can tell you on that answer. This is kind of the last one of the questions that I had. I only put it up for like a couple hours or so. What is the end game here as far as what I'm trying to accomplish? I don't really have a particular set end game. I'm pretty much doing it to learn, and learn by doing, because you can watch a ton of videos, you can read so much, and the only thing that's really going to prepare you for doing something like this is actually getting out and doing it. What I plan to do is buy maybe like a wooded lot or something up in the mountains somewhere, and then go up there and try to just be self-reliant in that way. Yeah, you had to go out and purchase the land, but that's still a lot cheaper than, you know, purchasing the house, build, and doing all this other stuff. And it just kind of give you a nice place to get away, kind of your own little vacation spot. I'm just doing it here rather than getting way off in the mountains somewhere and then realize I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, and what my plan is here obviously is like a bodger den, a workspace I can get in under it, you know, kind of out of the weather and the rain. I can make some nicer things. I can take my time, and possibly even in the spring and summertime as it warms up a little bit more, take up all my gear out of that and hang my hammock inside of here where I can get some more air. In the summertime, unless you raise one side of that tarp there and let some air flow in, that thing doesn't get much air. It's kind of damp and muggy like a cave. All that area kind of over there that just looks like a briar thicket, I'm going to start probably a little bit later on while there's no foliage on that stuff and it's easier to navigate. I'm going to start cleaning that out. And what I'm going to try to do over there, you know, I'm going to make a little bushcraft fence. I'm going to try to put a little garden in there, but not a regular garden. I kind of got ideas of some stuff I want to try. Out here there's lots of stuff like plantain, grapes, wild onions, there's wood sorrel, there's cattails. On down the creek a good ways, there's like cane and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to bring some of the stuff that's native to out here anyway over here closer and see if there's any way maybe you can farm it or something. I don't know. It would just make more sense to me to have them closer, and then I wouldn't spend as many calories going out looking for the things that I want to use, because you're not going to get a whole lot of calories from them anyway. So it would be handier if they were right here closer. Another thing that would having a garden like that out here would accomplish, tons of animals out here that like to eat that stuff. So if you get it all growing right here good, maybe some of those small game animals are going to come in here and try to eat it. Again, you've localized your area where you can set up your traps, and it's pretty much like bait, you know, maybe it'll be more effective. These are all things that I don't know, but I want to try. So that's kind of what we're out here doing. And once I kind of get in here and hang out for the spring and the summer, I kind of want to maybe make some changes and some modifications to that shelter over there too, you know. I would like it a little wider, maybe go a little taller with it where the roof has more pitch, and try to do an all clay roof with using that pine thatch, because it actually worked out really good over the fireplace. And that's kind of what I was trying to do, is see if it would hold up. And it's actually holding out pretty good. I think I want to move the fireplace around to the gabled end. Still got plenty to do out here. All right guys, I'm Shawn with the Wild. It's been a rainy mess out here. That's all I got for today. Thank y'all for watching.